Hi, this is Jeffrey Shank, a chartered financial consultant and the host of the Talk Money Show. I've been helping my clients for more than 30 years, and now I'm going to help you. Join us to learn about the financial issues that concern you the most. You'll hear from the experts on a range of topics, get some great ideas, and it's all designed to help you make more out of your money. So tune in to Talk Money right here on Eagle News Radio.
Discussions in this show should not be construed as specific recommendations or investment advice. Always consult with your investment professional before making important investment decisions. Securities offered through Cambridge Investment Research Incorporated, a registered broker-dealer, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisor representative, Cambridge Investment Research Advisors Incorporated, a registered investment advisor. Financial planning services through Andover Advisory Group, a registered investment advisor. Cambridge and Andover Advisory Group are not affiliated. Cambridge does not offer tax or legal advice.
Good morning, Justin. I want to thank you for your hard work. The information is a big help, and I appreciate what you did.
Enjoy the show.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, that's great to know. Thank you for the information.
You're very welcome.
Okay, Jeff.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
You're right on the money there, Jeff. How are you doing this morning?
Thank you.
Well, those are good questions. Hopefully that helps.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
You're going to hear stuff here that you don't hear anywhere else on radio.
And don't forget it.
I'm Jeffrey Shank, a chartered financial consultant, and this is Talk Money. Welcome to the show. The name of my firm, Andover Advisory Group, registered investment advisor. And for more than 25 years, we have provided effective financial advice to individuals and small businesses. Our mission here on Talk Money is to help improve your money IQ. And if there's you find something of interest here, you need some additional information, feel free to reach out using the toll-free number, or you can send us an email. My email address, jeff@talkmoneyradio.com. And so today, we're going to be talking about opportunity zones. Lou, good morning. How are you
nice.
this morning?
I like it. Opportunity zones.
Yes.
We all love opportunity.
Are you familiar with opportunity
No,
zones?
I'm not familiar with
Okay,
that.
so
Opportunity just got my ears up.
Oh, okay. Yeah. This is it's actually a program that's been around for a while, and it was continued as part of the big beautiful bill act. And so I wanted to take some time because it's kind of timely here, right? And so we're going to get into this. I'm going to explain what it's all about, and the title, first of all, Unlocking Wealth, is intentional. Opportunity Zone program is one of the few strategies that can give you three separate tax advantages. You may be able to defer taxes on a capital gain, potentially reduce the amount of that gain that's taxable, and most importantly, potentially eliminate capital gains tax on future appreciation if you hold the investment long enough. So a quick note here before we dive into this. This is purely educational, not tax or legal advice. Mm-hmm. The rules are very nuanced. Timeliness matters, and your facts matter. So you'll want to confirm details with your tax advisor. My goal here is just to make the program easy to understand so you can decide whether it's worth exploring in your particular situation. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to explain what opportunity zones are, walk through the three core tax benefits, show you how the timing works, and then we'll talk about common exit strategies, and then who typically benefits most from this approach. So what is an opportunity zone? In plain English, they're specific geographic areas that the government has designated as economically distressed.
I remember this, yeah.
The idea is simple: encourage investors to put money into these communities by offering tax incentives. Opportunity zones were created under the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, the first Trump administration. And since then, roughly 8,700 zones have been designated across the country, all 50 states, Washington, D.C., and all the U.S. territories. So you're not limited to a handful of places. There's a wide range of markets and project types. The key operational point here is you don't typically invest directly into an opportunity zone and automatically get the benefits. Instead, you invest through a qualified opportunity fund, or QOF for short, and then a new rural designation, opportunity zone, and the acronym is QROF, Qualified Rural Opportunity Zone. So, at the heart of the program are the three core tax benefits for investors. Like to explain it in simple progression: short-term relief, medium-term reduction, and long-term elimination, at least as it relates to the appreciation on the opportunity zone investment. And that's where you can actually eliminate, Lou, the any tax on the gain. So
right.
a huge opportunity there, right? First, though, is deferral. If you have a capital gain, say from selling a business, real estate, stocks, or even cryptocurrencies, you can reinvest that gain into a QOF, Qualified Opportunity Zone Fund, and defer the tax. The deck summarizes the key timing. The deferred tax becomes due the earlier of December 31st, 2026. I'm going to make a note in a second here. Or when you sell your QOF investment. Practically, deferral means you keep more capital working for you right now instead of sending it to the IRS immediately. Okay. And so December 31st, 2026. Well, we are in 2026. Right. So this really, and this is where timeliness is kind of important. If you incurred a capital gain last year, you actually have the ability to invest in an opportunity zone and postpone that gain for at least 1 year.
That opportunity didn't end at the end of last year. You can still do that.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct. Yeah. And that's why I'm bringing this up, and I wanted to explain it. So second is the step up in basis, which reduces the amount of the original deferred gain that ends up being taxable. Historically, if you held the QOF investment for 5 years, you could reduce the original taxable gain by 10%. And if you held it for 7 years, there was an additional 5% reduction, 15% total. These basis step-ups were tied to earlier investment deadlines, so we'll talk about what that means in today's timing. Third, this is the headline benefit. It's the 10-year exclusion. If you hold your investment, your QOF investment, for 10 years or more, you can exclude 100% of the appreciation on that QOF investment from capital gains taxes. In other words, the growth you create inside the QOF over a decade can potentially be tax-free. That's why opportunity zones are often described as patient capital. They reward a long-term time horizon. And so, big picture, deferral helps cash flow. The step-up can reduce what's taxable on the original gain in certain cases, and the 10-year rule is the long-term wealth-building engine. So let's take a look at the timeline, right? Opportunity zones are very rule and deadlines driven. Step one is the 180-day window. Once you realize a capital gain, you generally have 180 days to invest that gain into a QOF in order to qualify for the deferral benefit. And a really important piece of this is that the clock starts when the gain is realized, not necessarily when cash hits your bank account. So if you're in a transaction with escrow, earnouts, or complex settlement timing, you'll want to plan early. Next are the basis step-ups at the 5 and 7 year marks. This slide notes that the 10% step-up after 5 years has a deadline that's passed for many early investors. The 7-year total 15% step-up was only available for investments made by the end of 2019. So the takeaway here is that for most people today, the focus is only on the deferral of 1 year potentially and the 10-year exclusion. But I had to mention those other pieces of it, right? And so if you're already a QOF investor and you invested at the right time, you do have those other step up in basis. Now, there's a possibility that there may be some changes to the rules to allow new investors these step ups, but hasn't happened just yet. Finally, at 10 years, the program's biggest benefit kicks in: tax-free appreciation on the QOF investment gains. That's huge. And so that's what we talk about opportunity zones as a long-term strategy. You're aligning your investment horizon with the tax outcome. My advice here, if you are considering an opportunity zone investment, work backward from your expected gain event. know your realization date, mark the 180-day deadline on the calendar, and coordinate with your tax advisor and the investment fund that you're going to get into, so that you're not rushing at the last minute.
Do these deadlines apply to one particular opportunity zone, or can you roll between opportunity zones?
We need to roll between opportunity zones.
Well, if does one opportunity zone perform better than another?
It's very possible. Can you exchange from one to the other?
And
Don't
keep
know
these
the answer.
deadlines in place. Yeah.
Oh, keep these deadlines in place. Yes, I'm not sure if you can do an exchange between two different opportunity zones, but I think there is a possibility. I'll have to get back to you on that one.
'Cause I'm guessing they perform differently.
Oh, absolutely. It depends on how they're invested. So it depends on the area that they're invested. It depends on what type of project it is.
Yeah.
It can be a commercial project. It could be a residential project. There are a lot of different projects. As long as that project is meeting the rules and is within that opportunity zone, the investors in that project are rewarded with the tax benefits. Okay. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act in 2025. Legislation changed the Opportunity Zone program in a major key way by making it permanent beyond the original 2026 sunset framework. Why does that matter? It gives investors and project sponsors more certainty. When a program is set to expire, everyone is racing the clock. But when it's permanent, you can plan more strategically, both in terms of when you realize gains and which projects you want to support. So it also calls out enhanced benefits for rural opportunity zones. This was a part of the big the BBBA, including triple tax incentives and an expansion of qualified rural opportunity funds, or QROFs. The main point here is that rural investment is being actively encouraged, which can open up new diversification options beyond major metro areas. Mm-hmm. And finally, compliance and reporting requirements. It's important because opportunity zone investing isn't just to set it and forget it. Funds have rules around deployment and qualification. Investors need strong documentation. So if you're exploring the strategy, a big part of your due diligence is making sure the fund manager has robust compliance processes. Bottom line is the update increases long-term certainty and expands rural opportunities, but it also raises the bar on doing it the right way. Better, more robust, I guess, regulations and enforcement. So let's look at a real world example, right? Yeah. So you step one, you realize a gain. In this example, a business owner sells his business for $5 million. The capital gain portion is $1.2 million, right? So that's $1.2 million that we're focused on for the opportunity zone purposes. Within 180 days, the business owner invest that $1.2 million gain into a qualified opportunity fund. So the point here is that you don't have to invest the $5 million, just the gain.
Just the gain. Okay.
You can, if you want to invest more, but you are deferring the gain. That's the important thing.
Okay.
Right. So you only have to,
yeah.
You'd only have to invest the amount of the gain in order to defer it. In this particular case, we're deferring it for 1 year. And then by doing that, you defer the tax you would otherwise owe on the gain. And $1.2 million, it's not a little bit of money, right?
No.
And you're deferring it. Keep in mind, you're not avoiding it totally. You're just deferring it for a period of a year for income tax purposes. But that keeps your money invested.
Working,
right? Yeah. The taxes on that $1.2 million are deferred until December of 31st, 2026, and the investment can grow inside the QOF, right? As that money is invested and is growing in value. So the benefit here is that you're potentially compounding with dollars that would have otherwise gone to income taxes. And here's the pro tip here. You can invest only the gain amount, or you can invest more, but the deferral of gains and all the benefits, all the tax benefits, are only on the gain portion, right? So if you invest more, you don't necessarily get the tax-free growth on that additional investment. It's only for the capital gain portion.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
So when I'm talking to someone about this, right, I'm thinking about two questions. First, how much gain do you want to defer? Second, what total investment size fits your diversification and liquidity plan? So those two answers do guide the recommendation. All right, so now we get to what matters for investors, right? The 10-year exclusion. This is the biggie. So after holding your QOF, Qualified Opportunity Zone Fund investment for at least 10 years, the appreciation on that investment can become completely tax-free. So it's not just deferring the original tax bill, it's potentially eliminating tax on the growth you create in the Opportunity Zone investment itself. So a simple example, imagine that you invest $5 million into QOF, and over a decade, that investment doubles to $10 million. Normally, you'd expect to pay capital gains tax on that $5 million increase, right? But under the 10-year, or by the way, depending on the type of investment you make, and these are real estate investments, that's what we're talking about here. There is the opportunity to do what they call a like-kind exchange in real estate, no longer available for other business property, but still available for real estate. But it just has so many rules and eventually, potentially, taxes have to be paid. In this particular case, you get that money, you can do whatever you want with it without having to pay any income taxes on it. And by the way, this is something that is available to everybody. We're talking big numbers here. A business owner, $5 million business is sold. This works for anybody at any. There are qualified opportunity zone funds that will accept small investments, and they work the very same way. Okay, so
so that's what I was going to ask. There are funds that will diversify investments in the opportunity zones, or you have to pick a specific investment.
You pick a particular fund.
Yeah.
Right. So you look at that particular fund. What is the project? What are they doing? A lot of times these funds are what they call private placement, and are only available to accredited investors.
Okay.
So they're not so some of these funds are designed specifically for high net worth individuals, accredited investors, and so the average person may not be able to invest. But there are opportunity zone funds that have been created specifically for non-accredited investors who want to take advantage of that tax-free growth.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's see.
It's like a 10-year CD on steroids.
Yeah. One practical. We should stop and say this is not like a CD, because CDs typically are low risk.
Right.
If you're with a bank, they're federally insured. These investments are neither insured nor low risk. Okay. There is the possibility you could lose some of your investment, but they are typically real estate type investments and so you want to do your due diligence. You don't want to just buy into one that doesn't you want to have a warm and fuzzy when you invest. You want to make sure that these people that you're investing in know what they're doing, right?
Yep.
Because the 10-year, which one note here, because the 10-year benefit is so valuable, it changes how you think about liquidity, right? So whatever investment that you make, right, you want to make sure that you can hold it through the full horizon. Now, it's not locked up necessarily. It depends on the fund. But there are liquidity events that you can take advantage of. Keep in mind, if you don't hold it for the whole 10-year period, you're not going to get the full tax benefit that's available. And so this is all about being intentional on the back end, right? And an opportunity zone fund can be fantastic, but only if you plan the exit in a way that preserves the benefits and fits your financial goals. This shows how a trade-off between liquidity and tax advantages. Generally, the more you prioritize liquidity sooner, the more you risk giving up the most powerful benefit here, the 10-year exclusion, because if you dispose of it earlier than that 10 years, you don't necessarily get the full tax-free nature of that investment. So what are the practical exit paths? Well, one is refinancing. If the underlying project has stabilized, say a real estate development is leased up, you may be able to refinance and pull out cash without selling the investment.
Hmm.
Ah,
Yeah.
that can be a way to access liquidity while staying invested and keeping your tax position intact. Another option is simply holding longer. If market conditions aren't ideal when you reach a decision point, the ability to continue holding can give you flexibility, especially if you're approaching the 10-year threshold. And third is a partial sale. You could sell a portion of it to meet a cash need, for example, while keeping the remainder invested long enough to preserve the Opportunity Zone Fund benefit. And finally, a full sale, typically at or after 10 years, can maximize the tax exclusion on appreciation and deliver full liquidity. So there's also the possibility of like-kind exchanges as a potential strategy when structured properly. The key message here is don't wait until year 9 to think about this, because you want to start doing that in the future. So there is a possibility that you could do a like-kind exchange without actually having to, because you decided you wanted to invest somewhere else for whatever reason, right? You can do a like-kind exchange. Very complex. So don't do that without getting competent advice. But there is a possibility you could do a like-kind exchange to diversify out of even on a partial basis if you wanted to. Yeah. So who should consider Opportunity Zone investments? First, high net worth investors who have substantial capital gains realized already or expected soon. Although the deferral benefit will not be of benefit to you if you realize that capital gain in 2026. Common examples are a business sale, a real estate disposition, a concentrated stock position, or even cryptocurrency gains. If you're facing a meaningful capital gains bill, Opportunity Zones can be a tool to potentially defer and reshape that tax outcome. Mm-hmm. Second, real estate developers. If you're already developing projects and you're open to doing it in a designated zone, the program can add a significant edge. You're potentially stacking standard project economics with powerful tax incentives, and you're doing it in areas that are actively seeking investment. And thirdly, impact investors. Some people want their money to do more than just earn a return. They want it to help build housing, create jobs, revitalize communities. Opportunity Zones can align those goals with competitive financial returns paired with measurable community development impact. And one quick check here, Opportunity Zone investing isn't for everyone. Because the biggest benefits reward long holding periods. You want to make sure that the investment matches your risk tolerance, most importantly, your time horizon and liquidity needs. So the best fit is typically someone who can commit to patient capital and who values the tax efficiency through enough to follow the rules carefully. And you don't have to invest in one Opportunity Zone. So you could diversify. So you could take that capital gain and invest it in four different funds and still get the same benefits, which might not be a bad idea.
Yeah.
All right. So let's just wrap this up by going over a couple of just kind of reviewing the steps, right? So step 1, identify eligible gains. Look at your portfolio. Do you have a realized gain already? Are you expecting a liquidity event soon, like a business sale or property sale? If yes, the 180-day window becomes your critical planning deadline, so you'll want to map it out immediately. Step 2, explore rural zones, especially if you're interested in diversification. That's because the expanded rural incentives in qualified rural opportunity funds can be much better than the urban development incentives. And step 3, partner with experts. That's probably the most important. Opportunity zone investing is tax law, fund compliance, underwriting. So you want an experienced manager plus tax and legal advisors who understand the nuances and documentation requirements of investing in an Opportunity Zone fund.
Don't try this at home.
Do not try that. Yeah. And step 4, the wealth building impact. The best Opportunity Zone investments aim to do both: deliver strong risk-adjusted returns and contribute to real community revitalization. So your investment is helping the community, and that has its own benefits, right, beyond just the monetary. And when it's done, you're not just deferring taxes, you're creating a long-term tax-efficient growth engine that can support generational wealth and meaningful outcomes. And if you like, we can talk through what an opportunity zone strategy might look like in your specific situation. So feel free to reach out, give us a call on a toll-free number, or you can send me an email. It's jeff@talkmoneyradio.com. And so that's I wanted to put this out there because, and again, this is not just for the super uber wealthy individuals. Even somebody who's got, you sold your house and you couldn't exclude all the gain. Well, here's a way that you could actually invest in an opportunity zone fund, and at least for a period of time, defer that tax and potentially build a tax-free investment that could be part of your retirement plan.
Your options are pay that tax or try to earn some money with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so opportunity zone funds, they can be a good addition to your overall financial plan. And again, if there's something that you have some questions about that, you'd like to discuss or consider it in your particular situation, feel free to give us a call. Be glad to talk to you about it. So we are going to take a quick break here, Lou, and we actually have an opportunity zone fund question.
Oh,
and Ask Jeff question how timely that I wanted to get to. So we'll do that when we get back.
Whether you're saving money for your children's education, preparing for retirement, or deciding on the right life insurance plan, you can count on the professionals at Andover Advisory Group. Established in 1996, our company is responsible for providing financial planning services to individuals seeking sound financial advice. We create a comprehensive financial plan that serves as a framework for organizing the pieces of your financial life so that you can focus on your goals and understand what it takes to reach them. And a financial plan can help you prioritize. For example, how saving for college might impact your ability to save for your retirement. Having a clear perspective will allow you to pick the right strategies and confidently choose suitable products and services. Best of all, you'll have the peace of mind that comes from knowing that your financial life is on track. Call us at 978-691-5005 to book your free initial consultation. That's 978-691-5005.
I'm sorry. I didn't see the cue.
That's all fine.
Hey,
I forget you're not watching.
I'm Jeffrey Shank, and I've got today's Ask Jeff question. And it happens to be about opportunity zone funds. I'm a partner in a dental practice, and the partners sold assets generating capital gains. I want to invest my share of the proceeds in a qualified opportunity zone fund.
Mm-hmm.
When does the 180-day investment period begin? So if you missed it, take a look at the.
I know the answer.
Take a look at the presentation we just did on opportunity zone funds, and what I did was I went to the IRS's website to get the exact wording here because I wanted to make sure that I did this right. So partners in a partnership, shareholders in an S corporation, and beneficiaries of estates and non-grantor trusts have the option to start the 180-day investment period on any of the following dates. So it's not the date that the gain was realized necessarily. if you're in that situation, and this particular person is a partner
Right.
in a partnership, right? So any one of these following dates, the last day of the partnership's taxable year, the same date the partnership's 180-day period begins, or the due date of the partnership's tax return without extensions for the taxable year in which the partnership realized the eligible gain. So that would be March of, in this case, March of the following year. So if that was incurred anytime in 2025, even if it was January 1st, the 180-day period starts on March 15th of this. So if you incurred in this particular case,
Why is that March?
March
As opposed
15th,
to
that
April?
partnership returns are
Partnership,
due in
okay.
March.
All right.
Yep.
Right. All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, partnerships and S corporations.
All right.
They're doing March. And so the 180, and that's not the end of the 180-day period. That's the beginning of the 180-day period. By the way, that's 6 months.
Yep.
So you actually have, in this case,
Give
would
you
have
till
until
September
September
yeah.
to make the investment. Yeah. So you it's pretty cool. You do your tax return, and you realize that you don't like the tax bill, and you say, wait a second, what can I do?
Yep.
Take your gain, invest it in an opportunity zone fund, and defer it to this year, 2026. So you have to pay the tax on it, but you also have an investment that has the potential to grow totally tax free in the future. So that's this week's Ask Jeff question.
Another post end of the year planning opportunity, right?
Yes.
An adjustment opportunity for your taxes.
Yes. Yeah. So keep that in mind. So we'll have some more ask Jeff questions in the future. So stay tuned for that. And remember, in the meantime, good sound advice is much better than advice that simply sounds good.
Hi, this is Jeffrey Shank, a chartered financial consultant and the host of the Talk Money Show. I've been helping my clients for more than 30 years, and now I'm going to help you. Join us to learn about the financial issues that concern you the most. You'll hear from the experts on a range of topics, get some great ideas, and it's all designed to help you make more out of your money. So tune in to Talk Money right here on Eagle News Radio.
Discussions in this show should not be construed as specific recommendations or investment advice. Always consult with your investment professional before making important investment decisions. Securities offered through Cambridge Investment Research Incorporated, a registered broker-dealer, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisor representative, Cambridge Investment Research Advisors Incorporated, a registered investment advisor. Financial planning services through Andover Advisory Group, a registered investment advisor. Cambridge and Andover Advisory Group are not affiliated. Cambridge does not offer tax or legal advice.
Good morning, Justin. I want to thank you for your hard work. The information is a big help, and I appreciate what you did.
Enjoy the show.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, that's great to know. Thank you for the information.
You're very welcome.
Okay, Jeff.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
You're right on the money there, Jeff. How you doing this morning? Thank you.
Well, those are good questions. Hopefully that helps.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. You're going to hear stuff here that you don't hear anywhere else on radio.
And don't forget it.
I'm Jeffrey Shank, and this is Talk Money. Welcome to the show. I'm a chartered financial consultant. The name of my firm is Andover Advisory Group. It's a registered investment advisor. And for better than 25 years, I have provided effective financial advice to individuals and small businesses. And my mission here on Talk Money is simple, to help improve your money IQ. If you find anything here that we talk about of interest, you want to explore it a little bit more, feel free to give us a call on the toll-free number, or you can send me an email. It's jeff@talkmoneyradio.com. And so today, good morning, Lou. How are you this morning?
Cold?
Cold? It is cold.
It's cold.
Yes. Yeah. You survived Snowmageddon, I assume.
Not without water. Without water for 3 days, but yeah.
Did you lose power?
No. Frozen pipes.
Oh, frozen
Frozen
pipes.
intake
Oh,
pipe, yeah.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
Oh,
we worked out.
okay. Well, that had nothing to do with snow necessarily. In fact,
Cold.
the snow brought warmer temperatures, right?
Helped. Well, no, it really didn't.
Oh, it didn't?
No,
No?
it was very cold during
Yeah.
the snow. But no, it was the cold more than the snow.
And how much snow did you get on the coast?
Oh, we got 2 feet plus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, believe it or not.
Yeah.
We usually get out of it, but no, not this time.
So, hey, Luke, today we are going to talk about one of the most valuable but often misunderstood tax benefits available to U.S. homeowners. The Section 121 exclusion on gain if you sell your house. A lot of people don't understand this. Years ago, if you were 55 plus, you had the opportunity to sell your primary home and buy another one without sort of like a like-kind exchange without having to pay taxes.
Yep.
That's, a long time ago.
Yeah.
But they replaced that with this Section 121 exclusion. They've modified it over the years, but it can allow you to walk away with hundreds of thousands of dollars in tax-free profit when you sell your primary home.
It's funny because I was thinking of selling my home. Almost 2 feet of snow is falling. Funny this comes up.
So by the end of this session, you should know exactly how it works. Hopefully, you'll know exactly how it works, whether or not you could qualify, and how to plan ahead to maximize the tax savings. So let's get right into it. Let's start with the Internal Revenue Code gives homeowners a powerful tax break when they sell their property. You can exclude up to $250,000 of capital gain as a single filer, $500,000 if you're married filing jointly. So this is not a tax deduction; it's an actual exclusion. So that means the IRS pretends that this profit that you made doesn't even exist. So to qualify, a couple of rules. First, you must have owned the home for at least 2 of the last 5 years. Okay. I'm just gonna make a note here. It might come up a little bit later again, so this might be redundant, but it doesn't have to be consecutive. They actually calculate it in days, so it doesn't have to be 2 years. 24 months consecutive. It can be out of that 5 years. It can be 3 months here, 4 months there, 12 months there, as long as it adds up to 24 months out of the last 60 months, you qualify. And you must have lived in the home as your primary residence for at least 2 of the last 5 years.
Okay.
So you need to have those 2 combined. They don't necessarily have to coincide. And the good news is you can use the benefit once every 2 years. It's one of the most generous homeowner tax breaks that there is. So let's break it down. So major qualification requirements: ownership test, use test. First, ownership test. You need to have owned the property for at least 24 months in the past 5 years. Second, the use test. You must have lived in the home as your primary residence for at least 24 months. This is where it can get a little sketchy, right? Yep. The best part, as I said before, don't have to be consecutive. So if life brings you a few temporary moves, maybe you travel for work or stay somewhere else for a bit, that's totally fine as long as you track up, as long as you get up to 24 months of ownership as your residence within that 5-year period. And the 5-year period, by the way, and again, I might be redundant here, starts the day that you sell the property and goes backward.
5-year
right?
look back.
It's a 5-year look back, starting with the day that you sell a property, not the calendar year that you sell the property.
Right.
Okay. So, so the IRS lets single filers exclude up to 250,000. Married couples filing jointly exclude 500,000. There is one nuance for married couples: both spouses must meet the use test, but only one spouse needs to meet the ownership test.
Going to ask that question.
Yeah. So how do you calculate the gain? Well, you start with the sale price, subtract your adjusted basis, which is your purchase price plus improvements minus any depreciation that you've taken. Now, who takes depreciation in their residence for tax purposes? Only if you rent. And by the way, that does complicate things a little bit, right? And so the number left over, that is the purchase price, right? Plus any improvements. And the difference between that and your selling price is your capital gain. And the Section 121 can potentially wipe out a huge chunk of that gain. So let's look at a real example, right? Full exclusion scenario. Jane buys her home for $300,000, lives in it as her primary residence for 3 years. When she sells it, she gets $600,000. That's $300,000 of capital gain. Now, in that 3-year period, Jane didn't make any improvements. She probably did, but in this particular example, we'll assume that she did.
Yeah.
Since she's a single filer, she can exclude $250,000. So in this particular case, unfortunately, she'll still have to pay taxes on $50,000 of that capital gain, which is not nothing, but saved a ton of money on that first $250,000. Right.
Yep.
So in her case, the rule saves her tens of thousands of dollars. Partial exclusions and exceptions. Let's take a look at that. Right. So if you need to sell your house before hitting the full 2-year mark, you may still qualify for what's known as a partial exclusion. Some of the legitimate reasons include a job relocation of over 50 miles.
Okay. Health-related
moves. You had to move to a warmer climate because of your health, right? This needs to be documented with doctor's notes. Unforeseen circumstances, things like natural disasters, divorce, or other unexpected events. Those are all exceptions to the 2-year mark. But it's also important to know what does not qualify. What does not qualify is a second home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vacation condos don't count. So it has to be your primary residence. That doesn't mean that you can't convert that vacation home to your primary residence later on and still get the benefit of the exclusion. Investment properties, as I said before, it's strictly if it's strictly a rental,
right,
no Section 121. Mixed use properties, you only get the benefit for the part you actually lived in. So if you have a 2-family, for example,
yep,
you're renting one of the apartments, then the portion that you live in as a percentage of the total square footage, let's say, of the home, that percentage would be you could apply the exclusion to that portion of the sale of the house. And it does get tricky, especially if you've converted a rental property to your primary residence. Again, still available, but can get very complicated. Looked like you had a question. I'm sorry.
No.
Okay.
I do, but later.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about that, right? Business or rental use impact. If you convert your primary residence into a rental, or use it for business anytime after 2009, that's considered what they call non-qualified use, and it reduces the exclusion. So here's how the IRS calculates it. You take the maximum exclusion and multiply it by the percentage of time you actually lived in the house compared to your total ownership period. For example, let's say you lived in the home for 3 years and then rented it out for 2 years before selling. That means 3 out of 5 years were qualified use. So you'd only get 60% of the exclusion that's available.
Even if you met the 24-month primary
Even if
resident?
you met, correct.
Yeah.
You have to look at the total time that you lived, that you owned the property, and consider how it was used. If it was used for rental purposes, and then partly for as your primary residence. As I said before, you can convert it, but you're not going to necessarily exclude 100% of the gain, depending on the amount of the gain and depending on that percentage of use. So the way that you think about this is that you're only going to get 60% of what the exclusion would have applied, but that's not the way it works. So let's say that 60% of the 250,000, let's say 50%. We'll use that number. Let's say that your number is 50%, right, of the exclusion, because you had combination of rental and personal use, right? So and you're a single person. Going to keep the math real simple. So the most you could have for an exclusion would be 125,000. But here's the thing: if the amount of the gain is 125,000 or less, you still don't have to pay taxes. Right. You still exclude it. Right. So it's the amount of the exclusion that's available that is dependent on how you use that house and what that proration works out to be. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. Yeah. So just because you have mixed use, just because you only get 60% of the exclusion or 50% of the exclusion, doesn't mean that you're going to pay taxes on 50% of the gain. That's my point. Yeah. It's the amount of the exclusion that's available to you, and then you compare that to the total amount of the gain. Got it. And that was a.
Don't try this at home.
Because it is so complicated. It is so complicated. That's something that if you have that situation, you definitely want to get somebody competent to go over this with you. Okay. So here's some tips. Okay. To get the most out of Section 121, smart planning is the key. Here's a couple of tips. Document every improvement you make. These raise your basis, which can lower your gain. That's true in any case, right? But you want to take full advantage of that exclusion. And so every dollar that you don't have to claim as capital gain reduces the amount of the exclusion that you have to use. And particularly important if you're in a renting situation, right? You use the property for rental. Keep excellent records, ownership dates, move in and move out dates, receipts for upgrades. Time your sale strategically. If you're close to reaching the 2-year mark, it may be worth waiting. And again, another point to make here is that just because it's not a get it or don't get it because you're within that 2-year period, again, it's the amount of the exclusion that's available to you. So what they do is they prorate. So if you're only if you haven't owned it for that 2-year period, right? Only owned it for a year, you get half of the exclusion that's available. So 125,000 for a single filer, 250 for joint filers. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. Understand the 2-year rule. You can only use the exclusion once every 2 years, as we mentioned. And probably the most important tip here is consult a tax professional, especially if your situation involves rentals, business use, or mixed use property. A little bit of planning can make a major difference. And something else to consider is, and we talked about this before, the 1031 exchange. I think I might have. Anyway, 1031 exchange is the ability to exchange real estate with other real estate as part of a sale, and allows you to continue to defer any capital gains until you ultimately dispose of the exchange property. So section 121 is, however, you can't do that for your primary home. That's only 1031 exchange is only available for only available for business property. So why are we talking about section 121 versus 1031? Let me explain, right? So a 1031 exchange is for investment properties and lets you defer capital gains tax by reinvesting in similar property. So section 121 is for primary residences. So they're separate, but in some scenarios, they can actually work together as a strategy. For example, you have a rental property that you later convert into your primary residence and live in it for at least 2 years. You may become eligible for a section 21. Just keep in mind the non-qualified use we discussed earlier. But with the right planning, that portion of the home that is considered business property because you rented it, that could become eligible for a like-kind 1031 real estate exchange.
Interesting.
So you could actually take the exclusion and do a 1031 exchange, and as complicated as the section 121 is, 1031 is even more complex. You definitely want to get some professionals involved if you're thinking about doing a 1031.
If you are
Yes.
you're a 1099 and you're claiming office space in your house, does that make it a business?
Technically, yes.
Use?
Yeah. Technically, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're claiming business use of your home, that's a great question. There is the potential there for a portion of the sale to be accepted from the exclusion. I've done this for quite a few clients in many different situations, including where there was that partial business use, and it's not it's not a fatal flaw.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Okay, it could be over, and since it's only a small portion of your overall property, it doesn't seem to be an issue.
Okay.
But again, it's because you're reducing the amount of the exclusion. You're not prorating the exclusion because of the business use.
Right.
Follow me?
Yep.
Because let's say it was 10% of your property was your home office use, right?
Yep.
All that means is that potentially you only get 90% of the exclusion, which could be that'd be $450,000 for a married couple,
right? Which
could be plenty.
Yep.
Right. So, and again, it depends on how long you're using it as a home office, and so, yeah, don't just don't assume that because you're claiming that home office that
it's another factor.
It's just another factor, and it should be included. I mean, if you had a choice 1 year, like let's say you're thinking about selling next year, and this was the first year you're going to claim home office, maybe it's not a good idea to claim a home office because because so you have to do the math and figure out which is better, right? So, just in summary, Section 121 can save up to $250,000 for a single filer, $500,000 for a joint filer. To qualify, you have to meet the 2 out of 5 year ownership and use tests. If your home has business or rental use, your exclusion can be reduced. So definitely plan ahead and keep detailed documentation. When in doubt, talk to a professional, tax professional. And remember, real estate taxes can be complex and every homeowner situation is unique, but understanding Section 121 can help you make smarter, more strategic property decisions and potentially save you substantial amount of money in taxes. So that's our explanation of Section 121. If you have any questions about that, you're thinking about your particular scenario, think about selling your house, and you're not sure exactly how this is going to apply because of different factors, feel free to reach out, and you can use the toll-free number or send me an email, jeff@talkmoneyradio.com. We can have a discussion, and that initial meeting, there's no cost and no obligation on your part. If I can help you out, I'd be happy to.
One last question.
Sure.
We established that when you're filing jointly to get the double the exception, 500,000.
Yes.
The spouse doesn't have to have ownership in the house. We established that.
Correct.
Are they subject to any of the look back periods? In other words, if you married 2 months before you sell the house, can you still? It's about the tax status in the filing year, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, it has to be. So that person, that spouse has to have that use. It has to meet the use test, not the ownership test, but the use test.
Okay.
So it has to have the same. Has to claim that home as their primary residence for the requisite number of months.
Okay. So
in order to qualify,
still applies to the use test, but not the
still,
ownership
but
test.
not the ownership test.
Okay. Yep.
Right. So the spouse does not have to have owned that property. Just had to have. So you were shacking up for 2 years before you got married. You met the use test. You didn't have to. She didn't have to be, or he didn't have to be owner on the house. Just had to be living there as their primary residence.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you didn't have to be married.
No.
No, you'd have to be married for the entire time. Just have to. That person just has to have claimed that property, that home, as their primary residence.
I see.
Even though you weren't married during that time period.
I got you.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay. All right. Pretty sure that's the way it works. We'll double check that.
Now the snowstorm, we'll find out.
All right. So that's our class for today, and we're going to take a short break here, and when we come back, I've got a interestingly enough, Lou, an Ask Jeff question specifically. It might even be that question now that I think of it. But
okay.
Yeah. So
I may jump the gun.
Yeah. So we'll do that when we come back.
Whether you're saving money for your children's education, preparing for retirement, or deciding on the right life insurance plan, you can count on the professionals at Andover Advisory Group. Established in 1996, our company is responsible for providing financial planning services to individuals seeking sound financial advice. We create a comprehensive financial plan that serves as a framework for organizing the pieces of your financial life so that you can focus on your goals and understand what it takes to reach them. And a financial plan can help you prioritize. For example, how saving for college might impact your ability to save for your retirement. Having a clear perspective will allow you to pick the right strategies and confidently choose suitable products and services. Best of all, you'll have the peace of mind that comes from knowing that your financial life is on track. Call us at 978-691-5005 to book your free initial consultation. That's 978-691-5005.
I'm Jeffrey Shank, and this is the Ask Jeff question segment. And so our Ask Jeff question this week, Lou, is related to the Section 121 exclusion that we were referring to. And
that's a timely question.
Yeah. And this question is, we sold our main home and moved to our beach house a year ago. Now we would like to move to a 55 plus community, but we may have a big capital gain. And I'm told that we need to wait 2 years before we can use the home sale exclusion again, because we used it on, I guess the implication there is that they use it on when they sold their other house, right? Is that true? And the answer, Lou, is no. That's not true.
Okay.
No, it's because it's not. You don't have to. That doesn't have to be 2 years in between those sales.
No, but you still have to be 2 years as a main resident.
In order to get in order to get the full benefit. So what happens
Oh, I
is
see.
what they do is if you don't meet the ownership and use test, you don't get the full exclusion.
Right.
You actually can get a partial, assuming that some of those exceptions that we talked about didn't apply in this particular case. So if you had to move into your beach house because for health reasons, right? And the
Yep.
doctor says you got to get out of that house because it's in a bad climate. So you had to move to the beach house. That could be an exception, and you could actually be eligible for the full exclusion. But in this particular case, you're eligible for a partial exclusion.
Yep.
So all they're saying is, in order to get the full benefit of the exclusion, you have to have the 2-year use and ownership. You have to meet those both tests to get the full exclusion. If you don't meet that, you still can get a partial exclusion. So yeah, that's this week's Ask Jeff question. We've got a lot more, so stay tuned in the future.
Yeah.
And remember, in the meantime, Lou, good sound advice is always better than advice that simply sounds good. Thanks a lot. I'll see you.